All right, so one of the first things to gang stalking is confusion. Me myself, I've never believed in a hopeless state, that anybody is ever hopeless or anybody doesn't have options or there's nowhere you can go. You always can go within and you connect to a higher force, a spiritual force. There's always something you can do to get past whatever's going on in your life. That's just not with gang stalking. That's universal. There's nothing that's ever hopeless. So people going through gang stalking, the first thing that's going to cross your mind is this is a hopeless situation, or somebody has something over me. That's the overlay for the sucker play. There's nobody that can disconnect you, from who you are from within. There's people who may want to make you believe that and create illusions for you to agree to, but that's never possible. It can't happen. Um, so when you first begin to notice gang stalking, it's going to be confusion because you don't know what gang stalking is. So therefore, you're going to have the confusion, and the confusion is an illusion. But you're going to see people going by you in cars, people looking at you, wearing sunglasses. A lot of times, people who first start going through gang stalking, they will notice people following them with sunglasses. After they begin to learn what gang stalking is, you'll notice that'll wear off. Soon you won't see anybody with sunglasses. That's all part of that's all a strategy of confusion. Or you see people driving by you on the phone or walking past you on the phone, and they may be saying things and you feel it's directed towards you. This is all to create that illusion of confusion. And it's going to be a panicky type thing. Depending on who you are, you're going to react to it in different ways. Depending on where you're coming from in your life, what your story is, it's going to seem to be directed towards you. But again, this is universal. It happens to people all over the world. So getting through that confusion is the first step. The individuals behind this, who are directly watching you and observing you and setting up the assignments and stuff like that, most of these individuals would not be able to go through it themselves. So you're not up against some power greater than you. You're up against your own self. This all is based off of you. Again, I've gone through gang stalking for almost 3 years, and I've assessed a lot. I got a chance to see people face to face and read their body language and look at them spiritually as a soul being, and look at them, and I could tell right away they would fall flat in 2 seconds if they even had to go through a tenth of the sort of obstacles I had to go through. And I learned right away, wait a minute, I was the one who created the illusion to make it seem like it was that much more powerful. And these are people that walk the streets. These are ordinary people that walk the streets. These are people, they may live near you. They may work at your business that you work at, the company you work for. You may be a university student. They work at the university with you. But there's nothing there's nothing these individuals have that's anything bigger than what's going on within you. So establish the roots of what's going on inside yourself. There's confusion happening. I feel a level of discomfort, and I'm uncomfortable with this situation. Start, again, I always say this, go stand on a corner and watch the people come by and do the assignments and assess them and look at them and get comfortable with it. The individuals that you feel comfortable with, connecting with, wave at them, talk to them, go through all that. Once that confusion wears off and you begin to notice, wait a minute, I see the patterns, the color coding. Usually it's black and red. For other people, it's other colors. Once you establish that, okay, I got that now. Color coding, I know what that is. That's a visual technique. The brightening, that's a visual technique. There's some audio at play. Some individuals may use music for whatever reason, or they may use some other yelling. You can be walking down the street, people will get behind you, and they'll keep a distance from you, but they will be yelling out. Or you'll go past a certain area, like houses, individuals will be yelling. That's audio. So first you establish the visual. Certain individuals doing certain assignments and certain techniques. You get close to the patterns, then you come into the audio, and you realize, okay, now I get it. Visual and audio, they mix it together a lot. So the level of confusion is starting to wear off. You're starting to realize, wait a minute, this is something that is very simple, and better yet, it's happening to so many different people. So now you're starting to get a handle on what's happening to you within your environment. You may live in a regular neighborhood, maybe an apartment complex, wherever you're at. So that's number one. Now, once the confusion wears off and you get into a situation of facing the gang stalking one-on-one, that's when you're trying to alert people around you what's happening to you and how it's happening. Now, the first thing that's going to come up is individuals are going to try to talk you out of it. They're going to try to tell you you may be confused, because a lot of times they're not too sure of what they're doing. A lot of times the people are just asked to do minor assignments. They may tell you a little bit about what they're doing, or that individuals have approached them and asked them to do assignments. You can come across people who are open about it. People will be open about it if you try to get the information out of them. But a lot of times they don't know really too much about what gang stalking is. They're just asked to do these little assignments. So the confusion wears off. Now you realize, wait a minute, people are making money off this stuff. I can't go, everywhere I go, people are getting these little discount coupons and all this stuff. Like, this isn't what's going, you know what I mean? So now you're at a situation to where you can change your environment. You erase the confusion. You got rid of the confusion. You're being gang stalked on a constant basis. You realize it's in the news. There's other people going through it. So now comes in the distraction factor, where the people who are orchestrating assignments on you the most, these are, sometimes you won't never see them. Sometimes you won't see them. They watch you peripherally. They watch you through technology, or they're aware. They listen to your phone calls and stuff. They talk to the people who do watch you, yada, yada, yada. But a lot of times you will encounter these individuals. If you live in a neighborhood or you live in an apartment complex, the individuals who are using all this stuff against you the most, you're going to see them, and eventually you may even discover who they are. You're not going to be sure at first. It's going to take you a while to connect the dots. You may see them exchanging hand signs with somebody else. And you're going to see that and say, wait a minute, why do these people look at this house the most and do hand signals the most with this house? Why are these people continuously going to this shop right here and talking to this person the most? Like, what's the source of that? Why is that the source? So you'll realize, wait a minute, okay, now I see where this energy is coming from, these certain points. Now I understand where this energy is coming from. And so once you get a handle on it, the distraction factors go up. People want to orchestrate the most distraction against you. You could come into a situation where you get covertly drugged. Again, I went through a large city, Phoenix, and every single day I would wake up and go out and jump rope, and I just became active. I would go to the park and just start talking to all kinds of different people and tell them about what gang stalking was, and I didn't have any problem with it. I'd walk right into a store and shake the person's hand and talk to them about it. I didn't trip off it, and the people that were doing it became friendly. They were like, wow, man, this guy was assertive, and he asserted himself. And so they became friendly to me, and they started waving at me and stuff. And it became a situation where I became comfortable with it. Then more distraction would come in. Now I'd go out to eat, and before that, when I ate, my food never got drugged, because they were dependent upon the simple basics of the gang stalking to distract me the most and cause the most disruption in my life. But then when I was eating this food and I started getting drugged, I realized, okay, I get it. I'm getting drugged because the other stuff isn't working that much. The effects of the gang stalking tactics weren't working that much, so now it's time to covertly drug me. So now it's time to use electronic weapons on me. Now they're bringing out the big guns, you know what I mean, so to speak. And so, and when that happens, always put some humor with it. Always put some humor with it. There's two different types of people. A lot of people will look at that and get kind of hysterical and run, be like, oh my God, they're drugging me, and yada yada. There's people out there who'll be running down the street in broad daylight, naked or something, or they'll go, they'll just trip out. There's people out there who'll lose it. But you always want to stay focused and keep your mind straight. Always keep your mind straight. Don't allow any other outside force to mess with your consciousness. Nobody has that power but you. Nobody has that power but you. So you keep your mind straight, and you do your best to go through life. And you'll notice the distractions that are occurring, those types of distractions, you'll still learn to get through those. You'll learn obstacles about the drugging, about the electronic harassment type stuff. Those are energy weapons. which are very real. They're very real energy weapons that people use. And I've never seen anybody using one in person, but I know they exist. If you got the money, you can get them. They're on the market. A lot of this technology is on the market. You know, there's big bucks in it, right? So people are going to use this stuff on you if they're getting paid to do it. But so you keep your mind trained and you stay focused, and you even will get through that. You even will grind through that no matter what. And so once you start getting through that, then the people creating these distractions will realize, wait a minute, the guy got through the confusion. We set certain people in certain places and made them do certain stuff. We thought he was just going to flip out more than what we didn't. God, so the guy, okay. So, and they're going to do psychological profiles on you and assess everything about you before it starts. So once you get through that, then you come into the subject, like I said, covertly drugging electronic weapons. Then you get through that. So now it's a psychological type of thing where they're going to emotionally try to mess with you. They're going to take people around you. It could be loved ones. It could be somebody you want to have a relationship with. It could be a wife. It could be, if it's a woman, it'll be, her husband or whatever, or it could be your mother. If you have children, it could be your own children. They're getting to do these assignments. They're really going to try to figure out, how do we get inside this person's consciousness and mess with them? It's from a spiritual level. Then you realize the technology doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, they can listen to your phone calls, text messages, emails. If you go into a building, all this stuff is like in a certain type of surveillance. It's hidden cameras and smoke detectors, and there's a whole other grid that exists that nobody knows, most people don't know exists. There's a whole other system that exists that people don't know is there. So you can constantly be watched. You have satellite technology. This is something that all people who go through gang stalking go through. It's not anything specific. It's just in general. So they learn your habits. Human beings are creatures of habits. They want to learn your habits, know where you go throughout the day, and then they create these systematic distractions. Now again, once you start getting through that, now they use the people around you to emotionally distract you. And so only you can give that power. Just like in the beginning when you were confused and you were going through these illusions, you gave those illusions and confusion power. The primary thing is you always have to face that fear. Hiding from a fear does not work. It does not work. If you have some fear over a person or a thing or whatever is out there, it's never going to work for you to try to hide from that fear. I went through a situation where I live in a rural area of Michigan, right? And so constantly cars would come, and these cars would think like they were going to hit me and kill me when I was driving down the street. They would be driving on the road, move over, come like this happened so much. Not just in broad daylight. At nighttime, I go on walks at 3 a.m, and the cars would be doing the same thing. They would come right here, and then move away. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you know what? It could be a drunk driver, or it could just be somebody who just wanted to hit me and kill me. There's enough people, people just want to lie about it and get away with it. They probably could. And so, but I continued to go. I didn't move. I didn't move and run into it. I just continued to start learning to face that fear. And once you constantly face a fear of death, or you constantly face any other fear you have, whether it's a social fear or a psychological fear, you become immune to it to some degree. And if you keep a bond with your creator, a creational force, then it's all right. Because then you realize, wait a minute, this is just a physical body. There's always some form of spiritual moving on, some sort of change. So in essence, gang stalking can help you lose a lot of different fears. It can help you if you work with yourself within it therapeutically. It can be used in a positive way. Now again, the emotional distractions. Average humans are very weak. The way society, they don't have to be, but the way normal society is structured, human beings are very psychologically and spiritually disabled. And it's very easy for them to not be forthright people. It's very easy for them to be dishonest and not be very forthright people because they don't have any spiritual center or any deep psychological center. And the people who orchestrate the gang stalking stuff, they know all that. They know that. They know how easy it is to get somebody to do something. They're masters at it. So if you're somebody who is honest and you're on a high spiritual level, you got to remember that these people around you, they're going to be weak. You're talking about people who, most of the people they go to school and go to work. Other than that, they're not going to have anything really going on anyway. By you approaching these people, no matter who they are, a friend, somebody you want to date, somebody you want a job from or whatever, again, you're giving these people that power, and those individuals will be used against you the most depending on how much power you give them. They say, okay, Jameel, he keeps going to this person or he keeps talking about this person. There's a connection there. Let's manipulate that situation to cause a distraction. And we can bleed the distraction for how much it's worth. I'm the one giving the people aren't nothing to begin with anyway. There's no inherent meaning there. There's no inherent meaning. It's the meaning you give it. So once you realize that, and you say, wait a minute, okay, now I get the emotional distraction game. Now I get how it works. I went through the illusions, the confusion. I had to face the covert drugging, electronic weapons. Now there's people over here trying to create strange assignments with people I may be trying to bond with or whatever. You realize that it's a whole system set up specifically for you. One of the big things people come across is trying to speak to somebody. They'll confuse you as being psychologically off balance. They'll say, how can all that be happening? Why would anybody be doing that? What are you doing to make all these other people do that to you? Say, it's happening to people all over the world. What are you doing? The explanation you give. So that's the biggest dilemma. Once you get to the point where you faced all these fears and you went through all these things and you've really mastered gang stalking and you can go up to people and talk to them about it or whatever and get through it, now it's a thing of you want to get your story out. You want to build platforms. You want to create a positive life for yourself. You want to have the type of life you want to live. Not all knowledge is for everybody. There's a lot of things I know about I wouldn't even tell my own mother. There's things that you just don't tell everybody. So there's some people you meet, they may not be strong enough to have that knowledge. They may not be strong enough for that. If they're trying to project it on you like there's something wrong with you, that's showing you that that's on them anyway. Their mind can't go there. So you connect. This is going to help you even more because it's going to make you find strong enough people to deal with it. There's some people out there, they don't even know what gang stalking is, but when you explain it immediately, they'll get it. They'll say, yeah, I can definitely see that going on. Something like that is going on. I was being followed. You know what I mean? They'll tell a story. They'll say, I was being followed one day and I didn't know it. Some people will just get it right off bat. And those are the people you want to connect with the most. The cycles of gang stalking will keep going on. You'll keep having these patterns of all this stuff happening to you. If you get in a situation where somebody's trying to paint an awkward picture of you or whatever like that, or trying to make you look like you're lying or whatever, that's going to fall apart anyway. That's all going to fall apart. So if people are spreading stories about you, or people are saying, man, this guy's tripping, he's talking about gang stalking, or if you're a woman, they're saying you're tripping, that's going to fall apart anyway. Everything always, eventually everything can be seen for what it is, so it doesn't matter. So that's what now we went through fusion. That's the beautiful part, is once you get through the confusion, I've been going through gang stalking for almost 3 years. I don't have any confusion about it anymore. I know exactly what this gang stalking thing is. I know it can work through, workplaces, shops, neighborhood watch groups, other types of associations and networks. I'm very aware of what gang stalking is. I'm not there every day when the people get the assignments on their phone and stuff like that, but I've seen different people get messages through Facebook, show me on maps, like, they'll have a phone, and the phone will teach them through the app where to go to do the assignment. So if you're standing on this corner over here, this person will be told specifically how to drive past you and what to do. Now, they may not know what gang stalking is, unless you explain it to them, or they just naturally already know what they're doing is gang stalking. But then then they'll do, they'll do all this little stuff. So I know a little bit, I know enough from my perspective to go through a day-to-day life and deal with gang stalking. How you'll walk into, like when you get your food drug, people will come in and say, oh, we're doing this to help the person out. It's a certain health code, so we're going to put this element in their food. Yada, yada. Yeah, you can make up any story you want. That's on you. But you know what's happening. You know these people are drugging you, and it's happening for specific reasons. So erase the confusion, and you'll be straight. You'll be straight. They have to keep up with you. The people who gang stalk you, they have to keep up with you. So there's another tactic I like to use called the genie effect. The genie effect worked. I perfected that. The genie effect worked pretty well. The genie effect is when you can go almost anywhere, and the gang stalking is set up to mimic you. So depending on what your preferences are for certain things, depending upon what you're doing, how you're dressing, the people you're speaking to, they will mimic it back to you. So, in essence, you can change, through the genie effect, you can change your experience of gang stalking very strongly. Again, all this money is being spent on you. All this energy is being spent on you. It's there to serve you. So it's not something always to run from and be tripping off of. You use it in a way, and you can become the ultimate handler. You can become the ultimate hidden hand. In a sense to where, say you like a specific type of woman, or you like a specific type of car or whatever like that, you can convey that likeness out there to the world. Or it can be anything. It can be anything. You can convey that likeness out to the world. That'll be mimicked back to you. And it can be, if you do it right, it'll be done in a sense to where you enjoy it. That's a great feeling of power. That's a great feeling of power. I've experienced gang stalking, again, far and wide, all over the place. Not just the area I live, just all over the place. And so there is a feeling, if you can get into their mind, you get into the mind of the people. They're trying to get in your mind, but you can get into their mind. And you can force manifestations of mimicking effects, and you alter your perception of that reality metaphysically, and you become the ultimate handler. Now, I've had situations where I'd be talking about certain women, and they would use certain women to gang stalk me, certain looks, certain stuff like that, and I would switch it. I'd do it on purpose, just to see what would happen, and I would switch it. Bam, it would switch. I'm like, wow, that was cool. And then I'd switch it again. Bam, it would switch over into something else. And again, you're talking about money exchanging hands, people watching you and all this stuff. You're controlling all this stuff from within yourself. So gang stalk, there's a lot of cool stuff about gang stalking that people don't know about. One of the best things is that a lot of the people who gang stalk you, they're only stuck in their version of it. If somebody's watching you and they're setting up assignments for you, or they're watching you peripherally, most of these people aren't going to come see you in person. Go stand on the street corner. Go out and stand on the street corner and wear whatever clothes you want, and you go around, pass out flyers and all that stuff. They're not going to come and talk to you. For what? Where are they coming? They're only watching you from a certain perspective. That's all they're watching you from, is a certain perspective. Within that perspective, they know very little of the overall experience you're going through. They know they see about 1/10 of what's been happening. That's all. They see about 1/10 about what is happening. Now, if you choose to withdraw your energy from them, then they're lost completely. And there's different ways you can do that. Sometimes you can go out there and present yourself in a certain way, and their attention will come in, and it'll create an energetic bond to where they can try to come up with all that stuff, but you can withdraw your energy. You can even do a technique I call the flossing technique. I've done this a few times where I had somebody who was doing assignments on me, and I turned it around, and by the time I got done, I had them thinking I was James Bond. You know, I was like, why else do you think you're gang stalking me? You're gang stalking me because I'm famous. And they didn't even know who I was. And so by the time I left, they're like, well, what's your number? What's your number? What's your number? And all this stuff. You can tweak this stuff out right. You can get it. You can really get it cracking if you know how to pay attention to detail. It comes from living through it. So the confusion state, and they're always looking. See, the people who gang stalk you the most, they're always looking for some sort of dramatic pitfall in your life. They're always looking for you to get to some sort of low point or whatever, so they can say, oh, we got this person down, we can do this, this, and this. You can use that as an overlay for the sucker play. They don't, you know, you're only as down as how you feel from within. Again, the people only exist because you give them power. They're only there to create the distractions. That's it. So you can erase, you know, you can say, well, this, you know, so what? So what? I've been followed all this time, and this has happened to me, and this has happened to me, and I've gone through these circumstances, but so what? So what? That's not who I am. And see, you get yourself going on a proper track. You know, you can get yourself through whatever. You can get yourself through whatever. And so that's what I want to leave people with. If you're going through gang stalking, just get through the confusion phase. Then the new obstacles that come in, the different ways they're orchestrated, slowly but surely you will learn how to get through that. Then the phase you go through where people will try to like rewrite your history or try to make you look like you're crazy or something. Those people don't got any power to rewrite anything. They couldn't walk five minutes in your shoes. So you constantly reinvent yourself, and you come into a platform to where you come into a platform to where you will be able to be gang stalked, but still have a better life, still connect with the other people that are targeted, still create some sort of platform for yourself, like you know, and just keep going, just keep going. Every day it's something else, but it's all on you, and so that's why I leave with the confusion, the obstacles, and that's it. Once you get past that, you're straight. And you can use gang stalking as a tool to make new acquaintances. See, as you walk down the street and they're gang stalking you, they're there just for you. That's the only reason they're out there wearing those silly, everybody's wearing, they're there just for you. That's the red, they're all wearing red, that's the red carpet. They're there just for you. That's the only reason they're there. And so you use that as a tool. You walk up to them, speak to them. They're all going to be waiting for you as you walk down the street. Different types of people driving by, different. Yeah, they're paying attention to you. That's a tool. That's a mechanism to help you. You use it. It sounds, when you look at it as a threatening type thing, and you're constantly running from these people are there just to go back and forth, do these different types of things. There'll be other distractions created, but you'll be able to create something positive out of the experience. Just keep connecting with the people if they want to. If they don't want to, then you're straight on. Don't worry about them. But build a whole new venue out of it. Psychologically and spiritually. You turn it into a whole new venue. And, you know, if they really want to do something to you, they already... If a lot of people who get gang stalked, they're confused about what's going on, they're afraid. You know, if somebody really wants to do something to you, they're going to do it. Nothing you can do about that. But I'd say don't ever trip, don't ever be worried about that. That's how they mess with your mind, trying to make you think trying to make you scare yourself. That's spiritual right there. That is spiritual. They're trying to own your fears. They're trying to create a real estate in your mind through the illusion and own your fears. And if you continue to make your fears for sale, then that's how they can live off your fears. Once they realize they can't live off your fear, then they'll move on to somebody else's fear.